Hang on. All right, formulas for these names, ladies and gentlemen. Formulas for these names. Oh, I hate it when it happens. It's okay. It's only one. Nobody likes those anyway.
It's the yellow ones anyway. So.
The yellow ones are good, especially with the red ones. Then you have a little cherry lemon going action. So. All right. And the Anthony. Ben. Anthony, Maya, Jasmine, Michaela, Rose. Lucy, I saw. Bless you. Again.
Thank you.
Not disrespecting my own class. Or are you going to get your practice done if you're not doing it? Are you making a fortune teller?
Yep.
Thank you.
You're the only one.
We're talking about right now. Send it back to us. I sniffed it all.
Bless you.
I don't know, I stick it in the hallway. And it's actually scary.
Your mom was real? She never noticed.
Oh, like she does. Well, my nose. Oh,
No, I would. 8 scissors. Okay, no more siblings, my siblings. They're literally all half siblings.
Oh, shit.
Hold on.
All right, ammonium iodide, Dante.
Ammonium iodide,
Yes, sir.
NH4I.
Good. Binary or ternary compound, Michaela Powers. Yep. How do we know? Thank you. Perfect. 3 or more capital letters, ternary compound. Good. Now, again, ammonium is a +1, iodide is a -1, so when you put them together, their charges cancel out right away. Cobalt 2, hypochlorite. Go ahead, Declan.
I did COC something O2. I can't tell if that's an L or I.
Well, since you wrote it, figure it out.
I
Okay. So what's the formula then?
CIO2.
CiO2. Okay. Did you look up chlorate on the back of the periodic table?
It's a CL actually.
Yes, it is. Okay, good. And you're good with this, sir?
Maybe.
I'm just asking you a question, sir. Is this what you want to go with?
That's what I wrote down, but I wasn't finished yet.
So in 5 minutes, you couldn't get the second one done?
Why skip it?
Oh, okay. All right. So can someone help correct him on this? Joshua.
You have to put a parenthesis between CLO and that.
Okay. So first of all, let's do this. I'm just going to take this off for a second so that I can put in the parentheses. Okay. And then the 2 goes outside of it, correct?
Sure.
Okay, good. So that is the correct way to write this. Hypochlorite is chlorate, ClO3, that has lost 2 electron or 2 oxygens, so it becomes ClO. That has a -1 charge. With the cobalt +2, we need to put a 2 by the ClO, so we put it in parentheses, ladies and gentlemen. Questions? All right. Aluminum oxide. Mason, what do you got? Al2O3. Going back to our binary compounds that we did at the start of the unit. Okay? Going back to our binary compounds that we did at the start of the unit. Oxygen being a -2, aluminum being a +3, Al2O3. Zinc phosphite. Go ahead, KP.
ZN3 parentheses PO3 parentheses 2.
Just like that, so we're clear? Okay, good. Just so that I heard you correct. Correct. Phosphate, PO4, loses 1 oxygen, becomes PO3. That's the phosphite. Zinc, a +2, phosphate, a -3. We crisscross just like you did. We put it in parentheses. Perfect. Great. Awesome. Excellent. Tin 2 sulfide. Tin 2 sulfide. Oh, let's see. Go ahead, Jasmine. SN3, what? P? I'm just asking.
I don't know how I got P.
Okay, I think, okay. So let's double check this, okay, Jasmine? Because I think you accidentally grabbed phosphorus, okay, which would change your formula. Now, what's the charge on tin, Jasmine? Okay, plus 2. What's the charge on sulfur? Okay, so what do we do for our subscripts, Jasmine? You cancel them out. Very good. And again, that occasionally happens, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes you grab the wrong element and you end up with the wrong formula. So please be careful on that. Okay. You wouldn't be the first person that has ever happened to. Okay. Questions? All right. Please write names for these formulas, ladies and gentlemen. The first and the last one require a Roman numeral. By the way, the Roman numerals are on the side there for you if you cannot remember what they are. Or if you don't know what they are.
No, because I was in a restaurant called Taco Burrito Mexico. It's actually called Taco Mexico. No. It's called Taco Burrito Mexico on Webster Street. And she walked in. Phone on Webster Street. Your ex. And I was like, she wants to know about that thing. Is she adopted? There's nothing wrong with it. I didn't know she was adopted. What? Well, I didn't see any other kids there, so I didn't know if she was just friends with old people or what. The ginger one, yeah. Like in Mandan. You can see her. Is that real?
How'd you get this?
It steals money because they're so poor.
That's a good question. I'd probably do it.
Just say you're supporting a terrorist group and they won't be upset at you.
Oh, it's a long way. I know we hate that subject, but it's still like a long way.
It was me. I was one of the kids that.
It was wood too.
It wasn't like his house in the US.
Why did they want to go to?
I did it right in my head.
How are they gonna go? That's like across the ponds, you know. As the British people say.
Okay. It's called a plane.
Across the plain.
I mean, does have to like look into
Larson?
47. Or no, 50.
How does
Oh,
arson?
no, I said
Nitrogen?
N?
Yeah, I know.
Is that not, which one's AG?
I always confuse silver. Because I can never find it. They should remake the periodic table just for me.
AG.
I hate silver. I'm getting so sick of silver. Silver charge up. So we already have the charge of silver.
Oh, yeah, it's one.
It is not boron. Not boron. Benzyllium bromide. Or beryllium.
Mr. Brand,
Yes.
I can't see the last one.
Sorry.
Me and I run away from the United States.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Fe3N2. Who's got it? All right, Declan.
Iron, Roman 2N for nitrogen. I just nitrogen, right then.
What's the last part of the name?
Oh, nitro something. Nitrogen.
I'm asking you, sir. See, this is the point. You raised your hand. You're like, Mr. Brand, I got this. So I called on you. So what is your answer, please?
Nitride.
Okay. Now, what kind of compound is this?
It's the 2 for. I forgot what's not the 10.
You're doing great at giving me a whole lot of no information, sir. So okay, it's a binary compound. What do all binary compounds end in? IDE. Got it? Okay. I will put a smart pass out there back to Mr. Nast. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot to get one here, but.
You forgot to what? I don't want to know, Ava. Just go.
Okay.
Okay.
That's it. I'm gonna stay in the door when I leave.
Okay. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. So, all right. Iron 2 nitride. Again, binary compounds always end in what? IDE. Okay. We can't say iron 2 nitrogen because all we're saying then is we've got 2 elements that are next to each other. We indicate that it is a compound by ending a binary compound, only 2 elements, with IDE. All right. Ag2CO4. Josh. Silver per carbonate. Good. Okay. Now again, we don't need to put a charge on silver. We don't need a Roman numeral. Why? Try again. Try again.
It already has a set charge.
Okay, but what is it? +1. Okay. Silver is a +1. Okay. You were thinking of zinc. And since it only has 1 charge, we do not need a Roman numeral. Carbonate is CO3. We have added an oxygen here, so it becomes CO4. So we put the per in front. Perfect. Good. All right. Ca3BO3 in parentheses 2. Who's got it? Jaden? Calcium. Borate. Just like that. Okay, good. Good. Calcium borate. Now, here's the other thing, ladies and gentlemen. Remember before I told you minor spelling errors are not going to hurt you. Borate becoming borite is not a minor spelling error. Yes, it is only 1 letter difference, but you have changed the compound. Borate becoming boride, IDE, again, not a minor spelling error. That is a major one because you have changed it to just boron. So you have to be careful with your endings, please. Okay? All right. BeBr2. I got to pick somebody. No volunteers.
Beryllium bromide.
Beryllium. What was the last part? Whoops, hold on.
Wouldn't there be 2 bromides?
Beryllium what?
Bromide.
What's the ending, just so I'm not misunderstanding you? I'm just asking you. I'm not sure what you're telling me.
Bromide.
Bromide. Okay. I just wasn't sure what you were saying, Dante. I'm sorry. I didn't want to write it down wrong for
I
you.
kept saying bromide, that's why.
Okay. And bromite would have been very different, right? Okay. So again, this is a binary compound. 2 elements. We named the metal, we named the non-metal, we changed the ending to IDE. Now I hear somebody, Declan, back there talking about the 2. Please remember, we don't need to do anything with any of these names, especially the binary ones, about the subscripts that are down below. There's only one way to write these, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay? All right, our last one, Mn CrO4 in parentheses 2, and this one needs a Roman numeral. Michaela Powers, go for it.
Manganese, I don't want to say it.
That's fine. That's manganese. Sorry, you can't say it and I can't write it apparently. Manganese.
For chromate.
Okay, manganese 4 chromate. So again, we go to the back of our sheet, ladies and gentlemen. We find chromate, CrO4, perfect. Chromate, CrO4 is a -2. And there are how many of them in this compound, Michaela? 2. So that gives us a total charge of a -4. Meaning that our manganese has to have a charge of +4. And since there's only one of them in the compound, that one has to be a +4. That's where we get that Roman numeral from. Perfect. Questions? All righty, ladies and gentlemen. Excellent. Good review, ladies and gentlemen. Good review. And we're even getting a little bit quicker. All right. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about something different. We are going to talk about binary covalent compounds. Now, you can have ternary covalent compounds as well, but we will not get into them in this class, okay? We will keep it simple and we will go with binary covalent compounds, all right? So, covalent compounds are different from ionic. Okay? They are 2 different nonmetals that are bonded together by sharing electrons. So right away we got 2 difference from an ionic compound. An ionic compound is between what 2 kinds of elements? Metal and nonmetal. Now we are simply between 2 nonmetals. And in a covalent or in an ionic compound, the atoms are doing what with the electrons? The atoms are doing what with the electrons, ladies and gentlemen? In an ionic compound.
Sharing.
Nope. In an ionic compound. Not in a covalent.
Losing, gaining.
They are losing and gaining. The third way that atoms can fill their valence shell, the third way that atoms can become stable is by sharing electrons. Now, the only elements that can share electrons, ladies and gentlemen, are nonmetals. And there is a simple reason for that. Metals are trying to do what with electrons? Lose them. And if you're sharing something with someone, it's like you both have it. Okay? So if you go to the movies with someone and you get popcorn and you share it between you, it's like you both have popcorn, correct? Mm-hmm. I go to the movies with my wife, we get a popcorn, we split it half and half, right down the middle, ladies and gentlemen. Problem is, my half's on the bottom, I have to help get to it, okay? She gets the top half of the popcorn, I get the bottom half, okay? So, we're sharing it, it's like we both have it. Metals don't want to do this because they want to do what with the electrons? Lose them. And sharing them doesn't help you. Sharing them doesn't help you. You still have them. But nonmetals are looking to do what? Gain electrons. And when you share electrons, it's like you're gaining them. Okay? So that is why they involve only nonmetals. Okay? Now, here's the other thing. There are no charges. We are no longer attracted because this one became positive and this one became negative, and now they're stuck together. Now they are stuck together because it is the only way they can physically share the electrons. You go to the movies, you're sharing popcorn with somebody. You can't sit on one side of the theater and they sit on the other. Doesn't work. Okay? Doesn't work. You have to be next to that person sharing that popcorn. I know I've tried. My wife didn't like it when I went to the other side of the theater with the popcorn. Okay? So again, no charges here. Nothing becomes positive, nothing becomes negative. So guess what? No crisscross method. Can't do it. There is no crisscross method here. The total charge on a compound isn't anything because it never becomes charged. Okay? So that whole idea of what's the charge of this, what's the charge of that, crisscross them, off the board. Not doing it. Not doing it, ladies and gentlemen. And their formulas do not have to be reduced. Why? Because by sharing electrons, there is only certain ways that you can share where you can fill your valence shell. And because of that, we do not reduce these. Okay? We do not reduce these. They are named using prefixes and the element names. Okay? They are named using prefixes and the element's names. Okay? So, MgCO3, ionic or covalent? What? How do you know?
Because it has cobalt in it. And that's not
Nope, 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 nope. That's not cobalt. Be careful.
Oh, that's maybe because
Okay. Why?
Because it's a metal and two nonmetals.
Okay. So there's a couple ways we can tell ionic. Number one, if there is a metal in it, where will the metal always be? At the beginning. Always be at the start. So if there's a metal in it, it is ionic. Evan, you need to take out your headphones. Either that or you can put them in there. It's up to you, your choice. Okay? So, if there's a metal in it, it has to be ionic. Now, also, we just said, what kind of covalent compounds were we naming? They were all going to be what? What? That's true. They're all going to be binary. Which means how many elements in a binary? 2. So if we see 3 right away, we know it has to be ionic as well. Okay? If we see 3 right away, we know it has to be ionic as well. All right. PAS, ionic or covalent? Andy or Anthony? Good. Why? Phosphorus at the beginning is a nonmetal. 2 elements, you begin with a nonmetal, it is covalent. Okay? SR3S2, Keanu, ionic or covalent?
Ionic,
Why?
because there's a metal.
Because there's a metal. Strontium is a metal. BaCl2, Lucy. Why? What's that? Okay. Well, look at Ba. Metal or non-metal on your periodic table? Yep. So therefore, this is an ionic compound. 2 elements, 2 capital letters. So now we got to look, is there a metal involved or are there 2 non-metals involved? And the metal will be right away the first one. Okay? C2H6, Isaiah. Good. You've got carbon, a nonmetal. You've got hydrogen, a nonmetal. That's a covalent compound, ladies and gentlemen. SF6, Rose. Look at the front of your periodic table. Okay, we only have 2 elements here. So you got to look, what is S? Is it a metal or a nonmetal? Number 16 on your periodic table. A what? Nope, sulfur is not a metal. Sulfur is a non-metal. So what would it be if they were both non-metals? Nope, that one's covalent, Rose. Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there. All right. PBC. Anthony. It is binary. Now, sorry. I didn't know I switched on that side. Okay. Binary. Good. Is it ionic or covalent?
Ion.
Okay. Because PB is a metal. Good. Good. I don't know. Okay. Let's keep going with ionic or covalent because binary or ternary, I think it's pretty easy to find. AgCl. AgCl. Morgan. Ionic or covalent? Ionic, because Ag is what? It's a metal. It's silver. COO, Maya. Ionic or covalent? Because CO is a metal, cobalt. CO2, Evan. Covalent. Why?
Because it's
Two nonmetals. Carbon is a nonmetal. CCl4, Caden. Okay, why? Two nonmetals. N2O4, Isaiah. Why? Two nonmetals. Good. Questions, ladies and gentlemen. So here's the thing. If we see that there are three elements right away, it has to be what kind of compound? Nope, ternary and ionic. Three elements, because we're only doing covalent compounds that have two. Okay, we're only doing covalent compounds that have two. So this one is ionic automatically because it's ternary. Okay, the rest of these were all binary. Only two elements. Now you got to look closer. What is the first element? If the first one is a metal, that is going to be an ionic compound. If it is not a metal, it is a covalent compound. Good. Questions? Okay. So, covalent compounds use prefixes, ladies and gentlemen. So, here's the prefix, here's the numeral. The prefix mono means 1. The prefix di means 2. What is 3? Tri. What is 4? Tetra. What game is famous for having 4 things in it? Tetris. In case you never noticed, ladies and gentlemen, Tetris is made up of 4 squares all the time in different arrangements. But it's 4. That's where the tetra comes from. What's 5? Penta. What's 6? Hexa. Hepta is 7. Okay. What's 8? Octa. And I've heard it as octo as well. I will give you credit if you do either one. Okay. And 9? Nona. What's 10? Deca. Okay. Again, if you cannot remember these, ladies and gentlemen, they would be a good thing to write on your periodic table somewhere. Okay? Good thing to write on your periodic table somewhere. Okay? But if you came up to me and said, Mr. Brand, what's the prefix for tetra? I would tell you. But again, I don't know if you're going to want to do that every time on the test, on the quiz. Okay? Questions? Okay. So let's get into naming and writing formulas. To write a formula, you write the symbol of the first element in the name. I will not just say make a compound between nitrogen and oxygen. I cannot do that with covalent compounds. Why? We have no way of knowing what the subscripts will be. We have no way of knowing that. I'm not teaching you any method that allows you to predict the formula of a covalent compound. What I will teach you is how to write the formula of a covalent compound from a name. I will teach you how to write the name of a compound from the formula. I will not teach you how to figure out what the formulas are. Okay? Not to write them on your own. So you're going to write the symbol of the first element again when you're writing a formula, and then you add a subscript based on the prefix in front of the name. You write the symbol of the second element and you add a subscript after the symbol, again, based on the prefix. There are no charges here. Do not do the crisscross method. Don't do any of that. You're actually done at this point. You've written the symbol with the number based on the prefix. That's it. But again, we never write the numbers 1. And in these, we do not reduce them. So literally, you're writing out what the name is telling you. Okay? There are no charges. So sulfur dioxide. Yes, Michaela.
Do the numbers go on the bottom or the top?
The numbers go on the bottom just like our formulas do. The only time we put numbers at the top is if there is a charge.
Okay.
If there is a charge, we put them at the top. Again, these are going to tell you how many of the things there are in the compound. Okay? So sulfur, what do you notice about sulfur? What is not in front of it? A prefix. We will never begin a name with mono. We will never begin a name with mono. Why? Because if they listed all the covalent compounds alphabetically, there would be a buttload of them that begin with mono. So we don't do that. Okay? So we do not begin with mono. All right? What is the symbol for sulfur? What is the symbol for sulfur? Please, somebody tell me. S. Okay? And since there is no prefix in front of it, that means there is only one of them. Okay? What does di mean? 2. What is oxide? No negative. No negative. Not in this. Okay? Just 2. Just 2. There's your formula, ladies and gentlemen. Sulfur dioxide, SO2. Okay? That's it. Oops. Sorry. All right, let's try to get this right here. Okay? Sulfur 1, di means 2, SO2. Questions? Now, here's the one thing. We will use mono if it is part of the second part of the compound. So like carbon monoxide, we will put mono in there. So there will always be a prefix in your name if it is a covalent compound. It will be in front of the second element for sure. There might be one at the start too, depending on if there's more than one of the first element. Okay? There's more than one of the first element. All right. So, there are no charges. We don't worry about those. Carbon tetrachloride. Symbol for carbon. C. How many of them here? 1. Symbol for chloride. How many? So the formula? CCl4. CCl4. Thank you, KP. Yes, this is a much easier naming system. It really is. They're literally spelling it out for you in the name. Carbon tetrachloride. Okay? Carbon tetrachloride. Go ahead, Josh.
Is the first word always just like the base word? If it's never going to end in...
Correct. The first one is just going to be the name of the first element.
So like even if it was like C2, CL4, it would still be carbon?
It would be dicarbon
Okay.
tetrachloride.
It wouldn't be dicarbon or anything.
Nope. The only time you put an IDE ending is at the end, not at the beginning. Good point. Good point. We're writing the name of the first element. We're writing the name of the second element. We are changing the ending to IDE. We will get to that when we talk about the rules for naming. Okay. But yes, we don't start out carbide tetra something. Okay. Carbon. Okay. All right. Again, no charges. Dinitrogen pentasulfide. Dinitrogen pentasulfide. N2S5. You're right, there are 2 nitrogens, but remember the 2 has to go after the symbol. The 2 has to go after the symbol. Di-2 N. Penta 5 sulfide sulfur. Okay? Nothing here with 8s, nothing here with ites. What the heck? Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Well, that was in your mailbox, right?
Yeah,
Your
thank
stuff?
you.
Okay, I just thought.
Thank you. Okay? Okay. Questions?
What was your mailbox?
My nail. Okay? So again, you won't have to worry about ATE. You won't have to worry about ITE. You won't have to worry about per or hypo. That is all the ionic system. This is the covalent system. Questions? All right. Trisilicon heptaphosphide. SI what? Si3P7. Okay? Again, tri meaning 3, silicon, Si. Hepta meaning 7, phosphide comes from phosphorus. Si3P7. Questions, ladies and gentlemen?
No.
All right. So now we're going to name it. Okay? So again, this is what Josh was talking about a minute ago. So you're going to write the name of the first nonmetal. Okay? You're going to write the name of the second nonmetal, and again, we're going to change our ending to IDE still. And then you are going to add any prefixes that you need based on the subscripts that are shown. So right now, what's the subscript by N? 1. Do we need to put a prefix if we begin with 1 of something? No. Okay? So, what does the N stand for? Nitrogen. Now, what does the O stand for? Oxygen, which will become oxide, and then we need to account for the 2 of them. So, what is the name of our compound? Nitrogen dioxide. We have nitrogen and oxygen. We change the ending on oxygen to IDE. We account for the prefixes. 1 for nitrogen, we don't do anything to it. 2 for oxygen, we put a di in front of it. That's your entire naming system, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? And again, I will not do what I did with the covalent system, where I say, all right, combine magnesium and this and give me a formula. I will give you the name, you write the formula. Or I will give you the formula and you write the name. Okay? C3H8. C3H8. What's C? Carbon. How do we say 3? Tricarbon. What's H? Which becomes what? Hydride. How do we say 8? Octa. So, tricarbon, octahydride. 2 separate words, ladies and gentlemen. Capitalization means nothing in naming. You want to capitalize the T, you want to capitalize the O in octa, I don't care. The only time capitalization matters is when you're writing a formula. We cannot just capitalize every letter. First letter only, that's it. Okay? Now, let me ask you, do you think there are a lot more ionic or covalent compounds? Okay, why ionic? Because there's a lot more metals up there. There's a lot more metals. We are very limited in the nonmetals on our periodic table. Okay? But here's the thing. There are a lot more ionic than covalent compounds. But covalent compounds can get a little bit weird because atoms have found some very interesting way to share electrons. Okay? Very interesting way to share electrons. Okay? XeF6. Xenon hexafluoride. Declan, why are you looking at me like I'm crazy?
It's, noble gas.
You're right, it is a noble gas. And what did we tell you before?
They don't really share because they don't need to.
Correct. Guess what?
Now they're sharing.
Oh, there's a few of them that do.
Xenon, so nice.
So I probably won't give you any. Doesn't mean we can't write a name for it. Not every compound that we wrote names for before probably actually exists. Some things don't combine. Okay? So some of the ionic ones that we wrote names for, we can write names for any compound you want based on our naming system. Now the question is, do they actually exist? Well, that's a whole nother story to them. Okay? I will not on a test give you one with a noble gas in it. Okay? I won't do that to you. But understand, we still could name it. It would just be a covalent compound. Only 2 elements. All right. This one I could give you. B2I5. Jeez. Can't you give people a chance to think about it?
Great.
Doing good, Andy. Doing good. Diboron. 2 borons. Penta. Iodine becomes iodide. Penta iodide. Question.
Better be learning about acid.
Next.
No, you're not ready for acids yet. You're not ready for acids yet. But we can do this.
Our worksheets.
Hang on. Before we do. No.
I ever do like a comedy sketch thing. Maybe it's a comedy sketch that doesn't really
All right. On that same scratch paper that you used at the start, please write names for these 5 compounds. This way Andy cannot just yell them all out before we get a chance to think about them. Nope. Andy, you're doing fine. You're doing fine. It's just not everybody is as quick at this as others. Again, I think this is actually the easier of all of the naming systems, ladies and gentlemen. And you'll notice some of these are not reduced. The very first one, N3F6, we do not have to reduce these covalent compounds. Okay? Do not have to reduce these covalent compounds.
Isn't that what C stands for? Yeah. Yeah, the coffee's away from that.
If you have questions, please raise your hand.
What's that? Well, it starts out as chlorine, but in the compound it ends up as chlorine. Right? Okay, but now remember, if it is the second one, then you have to put the mono in.
Okay? If it is the second one, ladies and gentlemen, and there is only one of them, you do have to put the mono in the name. So there is always at least one prefix in a name, and the second element in the compound always gets a prefix. Always. The first one may or it may not. The second one always gets a prefix. Okay? Even if it is only one. Okay?
And I'm just. Not so bad. I wish Pluto was around. No, he's the document.
N3 F6. N3 F6. Keanu, go for it.
Oh, P-nitride hexafluoride.
I'm sorry, what was that? What was that?
Oh, I got the. Oh, that's an R. I thought that was an E. Sorry, I put T.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Where are you seeing an R?
For the third one.
Okay, but we're on the first one. N3
I
F6.
meant
like number 3 for try.
for
The
try.
R in try
Look,
comes
your
with the E.
T-
Oh,
R.
I'm sorry. TRI. Sorry, go ahead.
So I put T nitrogen, but I meant tri nitrogen.
Trinitrogen.
Hexafluoride.
That's what it is.
Hexafluoride. Oops. Again, all of these will end in IDE, ladies and gentlemen. There is always a prefix with the second element, and there is sometimes one with the first. All right, C3H8. C3H8. Jasmine, what do you got? Okay. Okay, again, ending in IDE, always a prefix in the second part of the name. CO3. CO3. What do we got for that one, Mason?
Carbon trioxide.
IDE ending, prefix here, ladies and gentlemen, always. Good. S3Cl. S3Cl. What do you got, Dante?
Trisulfur monochloride.
Trisulfur monochloride. Very good. Now, if you forgot the mono at the end, please remember this one always gets a prefix. The second one always does, even if it's one of them. Okay? P2O5. P2O5. Michaela Stiles, what do you got?
Diphosphorus pentoxide.
Good. IDE ending, penta there. Good. Questions? All right. Here you go. Last 5. Selenium tribromide, tricarbon tetrachloride, hexasulfur monoxide, diboron triiodide, arsenic mononitride.
That's what I see when I see that. I'm sorry. I'm not. Dude, I'm gonna be the next Logan Paul.
If you can't find something, please let me know. Yes.
This side is I just
For what we're doing now, it's all in this area right here. Everything is in that area, okay? So there will be nothing on the backside of your periodic table for covalent compounds, ladies and gentlemen. Everything will be up in the upper right-hand corner of our periodic table where the nonmetals are. Okay?
You knock it off. That one.
Everything that you're looking for
Is that another?
should be somewhere up in here, ladies and gentlemen, or involving hydrogen.
Is that another E that looks like a, or is that another R that looks
You gotta tell me which one you're looking at, Dak.
Diboron trioxide? Iodide.
Okay, so which part? The tri, the TRI?
Yeah.
That is an R, yes.
Okay.
Unless there is one TEI, but I don't know of any prefixes that are that way.
It just looks.
I'm sorry. I will try to write neater for you in the future.
Thank you. Actually, it's like that one Family Guy clip where like Joe keeps on playing March. Do you know what it's like? Oh my god. Oh, so you seen the clip? You're just wired. No drawing. That's what Keanu's
All right, who can give me selenium tribromide? Selenium tribromide. Give it a try.
Me.
All right. Go ahead, Lucy. SEBR3. Perfect. Okay. Tricarbon tetrachloride. Anthony Baez. Tricarbon tetrachloride.
C3. CL4.
You don't have to do anything with charges. You don't have to worry about positives and negatives. You write what is given to you in the name. Hexasulfur hexasulfur monoxide. All right, Michaela, what do you got here? Velasco.
Your screen okay?
Hang on. Okay, S6.
That's a V.
I think it's catching up now. S6. What?
01.
And we don't write the 1. There you go. That's it. S60. Good. Diboron triiodide, Rose. Okay. 3 where? Okay. Anything next to the B? Well, what's it say in front of it? In front of the boron, what's it say? What's the prefix, Rose? Yep. B2I3. Very good. Perfect. All right. Arsenic mononitride. Caden.
ASN.
There you go. There's your formulas. Joshua.
Or something like tetra oxide. Do you have to write the A or can you just do TETR oxide?
Okay, here's the thing. I know it seems weird. Okay? Like triiodide to put two I's together and an O, and I'm sure Google is going to go absolutely ape happy with this combination of letters in it. Okay? Minor spelling errors I will accept. So like I eliminated the second O. I didn't put two O's in monooxide. Okay? As long as you're giving me the prefix and you're ending the compound with IDE, I will accept minor spelling errors in there. Okay? So like tetraoxide, I would put tetra and then I would do oxide. I'd put the A and the O next to each other. Okay? Now here, if you eliminated one of these I's in triiodide, okay, I will accept that as a minor spelling error. Okay? But again, remember, it cannot end in ITE. It cannot end in ATE. It can end in something like that. Questions? All right, ladies and gentlemen. I will tell you, these will be on your quiz tomorrow. There are 4 or 5 of them on your quiz tomorrow out of the 20 that are on your quiz tomorrow. The 20 points that are on your quiz tomorrow. 4 or 5 of them will come from binary covalent compounds. And ladies and gentlemen, I give you a bonus on the quiz tomorrow that you will see when you get the quiz. Okay? Questions? Okay, you got a few minutes left. 2 things, ladies and gentlemen. If you need to see what the periodic tables look like, all 3 of these are the same. One is for first, one is for fourth, and one is for fifth hour. Make sure your periodic table looks like this before the quiz tomorrow. Okay? And also, ladies and gentlemen, you do have a worksheet. I did back off the day that it is due. It was originally supposed to be due today. It can be due tomorrow instead. But since yesterday, I think I got a total of 6 total worksheets from 3 classes of what was due yesterday. I'm not banking on a bunch of them being turned in. And here's the honest to goodness truth. You don't want to do the worksheets. That is 100% up to you. It is not going to hurt your grade. But if you do not know how to write and name compounds, that will hurt your grade, ladies and gentlemen. That will hurt your grade. Questions? Okay. If you have questions, ladies and gentlemen, I will be more than happy to answer them.
Not lying about that. Dude. You could be like definitely don't that much.
I'm not gonna look it up. You don't have to warn me of something I'm not gonna do.
I am not. Driving on fun.
Just scrub and drain.
That was
Yeah, that sounds
I
fun.
have the brain.
Like getting this one.
I don't know how I got this car. I want to buy
No, it's just not much. Anything to grade.
They already did. He got his shirt during one time. He had his music and all everything.
Sage dog. She like a serial killer.
You want what?
They're supposed to also be like a little bit like real chocolate.
Is this why Andy doesn't want to survive school?
Everyone is
Doesn't look at
Liam, yeah, beats his cut. Dude, Liam had been like world boyfriend attack. It's like to this guy.
I feel like I could be the best
Do you have any lessons? Oh, good. It's like two for a couple months.
Nobody's like this.
I don't know. You didn't bring yeah, that's exactly.
everyone else sucks.